In this video, let's edit some of our MIDI clips using Clip View. I'm going to pull up Clip View by double-clicking on one of our MIDI clips. And now we have Clip View available to us. Let's expand it up so we can see exactly what's going on. And now we have our note editor, our velocity editor, and some boxes in the left. We can navigate our editor just like we do in arrangement view. We can drag down, drag up, left and right, and we can hide some of our boxes. So in this video, we're not going to talk about launch, the envelopes, the clips. We can't hide that, but we're not going to talk about that one. And in the notes box, we're going to specifically talk about these parameters here. We'll get to all the other ones in a later video. So now we can begin to edit these notes that are in our MIDI clip. Before we start editing, I want to show you this preview mode. It's turned on and located here. It's the button that looks like a pair of headphones. And now clicking on the piano roll previews what that note sounds like, as well as clicking on a MIDI note or dragging it. It's really helpful when we're editing. So you just saw the first way we can edit, and that's with our mouse. We can move these notes around. We can make them longer at the end, make them longer at the beginning, and we can change velocity by using a modifier key. So on a Mac, I'm going to hold Command, and now I can drag up and down to change the velocity. The velocity indicates how hard we played these notes. Changes in velocity give a performance the humanistic feel. So with drums, pianos, bass, guitar, velocity is how we can express with different volume levels or different timbres, and that's what makes our performance sound natural. So velocity is very, very important. We can do all the edits we just talked about over multiple notes. We can select them, now edit multiple notes, dragging them around, expanding them, and changing their velocity. We can also change velocity down at the bottom. And one really cool workflow I like doing is using the Command key on a Mac. And now I can change the velocity and give it a crescendo, a decrescendo, and it all lines up with that line I'm drawing. So now let's back out, do undo, back to where we were. There we go. And now I like to show you draw mode. Draw mode can manually be turned on with the pencil icon on the top right, or we can use a shortcut B. B can turn it on by hitting it, turning it off by hitting it again, or we can hold it, make our edits, and let go, and it snaps back to the mouse. So now with draw mode, we can write in some of our notes. And using modifier keys, we can change the way this pencil tool works. So holding Command, we can change the length right from draw mode. And we can get rid of notes just by simply clicking on them. So now we're going to undo, get rid of all the notes we're not going to use. We can add notes and remove notes by double-clicking with the mouse. What if I want to hear this clip without this note, but I want to keep it there just in case I want to come back to it? So now we also have the option to deactivate notes. Select those notes, pull up my menu by holding Control, and deactivating. The shortcut is 0 on the number pad. So along with zooming in and out horizontally, we can also zoom in and out vertically. And I'm just dragging this left and right. Right now I have fold turned on. If I turn fold off, we can zoom in and out as much as we want to. Now the cool thing about fold is that it gets rid of all the notes in the roll, in the piano roll, that we're not using. So right now, I don't know if there's any notes way down at the bottom. I don't know if there are any notes at the top. I don't know if I'm using F or G or G sharp. When I turn fold on, it's only showing me the notes in the piano roll that I'm using that are currently being used in the note editor. So now I have a nice, concise view and work exactly with the notes I'm using. The next editing technique I want to show you is quantize. Now these notes look pretty perfect to me. So let's go over to our bass MIDI clip. And now we can see that these notes are pretty close, but they're not perfect. So I'm going to select all of these notes by using a Command A. And now I'm going to pull up a menu. And we have quantize settings and quantize. Quantize applies whatever we set in quantize settings. So first let's take a look at our quantize settings. We have an amount to quantize to, a subdivision. We can quantize the beginning and the end of each note, and we can set an amount. So each one of these notes is a 16th note. And I can tell, because we have a 16th note subdivision down at the bottom right, so each one of these boxes or bars represents a 16th note. I'm going to set that to 16th note. Alternatively, we could have used current grid, but I just want to make sure that we are set to 16th note, no matter how far we zoom in and out. I'm going to adjust the beginning and the end, but I do want to leave a little bit of a human feel. So we're just going to put it at possibly maybe 60. And that's just going to make it 60% closer to being perfectly on grid. Okay? And you can see some of them snapped to the grid. They're not perfect. They're still a little bit off. We still have a little bit of a human feel, but it's going to be that much more closer to being perfect. So next, let's jump over to the poly track. I'm going to select the first clip here. And now we can see another performance that isn't perfect. I'm going to use my mouse to double click on this note to remove it. And I'm going to select them all, Command A, hit Control to pull up my menu, go to quantize settings, and now I want to select the largest subdivision available to me, which is a quarter note. Each one of these notes is a half note, so I just want to get this as close to the half note value as possible. I'm going to change the beginning and the end, but I'm going to make these perfect. Hit OK. And now all of my MIDI notes have snapped to the nearest quarter note. So let me launch this clip real fast. We can hear what it sounds like. So everything's perfectly in tempo. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is show you the MIDI stretch feature. I can stretch these MIDI notes by selecting them all. And now I have some markers at the top. And this allows me to stretch these notes. And I can do this while listening back to see what I get. So I just made this twice as fast. Or I can give it some kind of a odd meter feel by making it somewhere in between where it was and a downbeat here. We can also adjust the beginning. We don't have to do all the notes at the same time. We could do just these walking down passage. So it's a very powerful tool whenever you want to maybe speed up, slow down, and give that much more of a humanistic feel to your MIDI notes. So now let's talk about our notes box. We have a couple different buttons that make editing way easier as well. We have a duplicate loop. Let's hit that. And now I just made that loop twice as long and duplicated the information inside of it. If I select the first 4 notes that are walking down, I can now use 2 buttons to reverse or invert their values. So let's do maybe these 6 notes, 7 notes. And the reverse flips them horizontally. The invert flips them vertically. And this is a really cool way to come up with new content. So let's try that and see what it sounds like. All right. We can also have notes play back in double time or half time. So I've got 4 notes selected, and I can use these two options to play back at twice the speed or at half the speed. Now above that, I have a transpose option. This transpose box is showing me the lowest and the highest note value that I have selected. So here we have C4 and F4. And the lowest value is C4, highest value is F4. I can change this by simply using my arrows or typing it in. So I'm going to unfold, and now I can type in, let's say, A4. And now we can see that these notes have gone up 9 half steps. Hit undo, and now I can select all my MIDI notes. And now I can use my arrow keys to transpose all these notes up and down. The last one I'll talk about is this legato option. I'm going to play this for you. Got the bass going here. And now I'm going to make this a legato passage by selecting some of these notes. Hit legato. Okay, so it's going to extend the note to the very beginning of the next note selected. So maybe I don't like how that's extending this D sharp all the way to D3. I can just select these 3 notes, hit legato, and boom, it's just going to extend it to the G that's right here on measure 2. So that is how you edit MIDI notes in a MIDI clip using Clip View. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.